Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. Hendo, how are you tonight?
I'm amazing. You know, I don't think that I was born a prophet, but it just came to me throughout life. And I told everybody, even when we were down, we're going to play the Steelers in the playoffs. We're going to play the Bills in the divisional round. We're going to play this. We're going to play the Kansas City Chiefs when we get to the AFC Championship. I just haven't decided yet who we're going to play in the Super Bowl. But don't be amazed by my clairvoyance. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's either the Vikings or the Lions. I'm thinking, but somebody mentioned on one of our prior streams, purple on purple for the Super Bowl. So they think the Vikings are going all the way. Hey, what do you
Nah,
I know. I think the
I
Lions
thought
have it this year.
I thought so, but Sam Darnold is being Sam Darnold, so
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, well, we are going to just kind of give you a few of the positives that we have from last night's game or yesterday's game. Well, it was last night. Gosh, it was spilled over to this morning because we were live streaming, but we're back. We're going to give you a few final takeaways from last night's game and kind of, say like connect the dots, right? How does that kind of give us some momentum moving into next week's game? Couple of things that I thought about. Amazing things happen when we run the ball. And we saw that the Ravens absolutely dominated the Steelers, especially in that first half with Derrick Henry. You
right.
know, um, Rushing yards for a team, 299. It would have been 300, but at the very end, Lamar took a knee and, but it doesn't matter. I wrote down a stat here, the most in any NFL playoff game in 12 years. And this happened the last time there was over or close to 300 was in January of 2020. I'm sorry, 2013. Yeah, 2012. I'm sorry, 2012. I wrote that down wrong. But yeah, 2012. And that was the 49ers. And since then, there's not really been any other game that's like 299 rushing yards. So just thinking about it, having an opportunity to kind of like sleep on it. What were your
hmm
thoughts about us being so dominant with our run game?
I wasn't surprised. I mean, we've been doing it all season long. We've done it without Derrick Henry, so I figured we could do it with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Now, back in 2012, it was an amazing feat. I think ours was a little more amazing because it was Colin Kaepernick and Frank Gore who did it. And at that time, they weren't really used to running, scrambling quarterbacks like that. And Alex Smith had started the season. Colin Kaepernick came in during the latter part and just surprised the Green Bay Packers. But
Mm.
for us, we were supposed to be playing one of the better defenses in the league, a divisional opponent. This was the third time that we matched up against them. So to me, this is more impressive just because they knew what was coming. They knew it was going to be Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson all game long, and they just couldn't stop us.
I mean, yeah, they knew it was coming, but what was their answer? Like, this is what you have, like, your week to prepare, and not even just a week. I mean, like you said, we're division rivals. So you've known all year that you were going to face us twice. And now for a third time, the fact that there was no response, there was no answer, no valid one anyway. So that's impressive to me. And it shows me that if we continue to focus on the run, even in Zay's absence, we were able to have a commanding lead. We did not let up. And that is very good to know, especially if it means that we're without Zay this upcoming week. I don't know that we will be without him. We haven't heard. But in the event we go up against the Bills next week and we don't have Zay, I'm not worried. I think we'll be just fine. I think we'll be okay. And another takeaway, the fact that we had fewer penalties. The Ravens had 3 penalties, resulting in 14 yards. That is so much better than what we've seen from these Ravens all season. So
Mhm.
I'm taking that as putting that as a feather in our cap moving forward. So how did you feel about the lack of penalties, or the not lack, but the limited amount of penalties?
I mean, it was great to see. All season long, we've suffered from penalties. It has derailed us in a few games, but the team seems to be locked in. Sans a few plays here and there. Ronnie Stanley will give you a couple false starts, but I think I think the offensive line held up well. and they didn't give you their normal illegal man downfield, illegal shift, certain things like that. So keeping that to a minimum is going to help this team going forward. Being disciplined. I think that we may have learned from the playoffs from last year when we just lost our cool versus the Kansas City Chiefs. We had a personal foul. I'm sorry, we had two personal fouls, a myriad of penalties, and I think that this is one of the reasons why I believe that this team is destined to go win the Super Bowl.
Are we willing to give John Harbaugh some credit for getting us to a place where we are seeing fewer penalties?
I mean, if we give him the blame, we have to give him we have to give him the credit.
Yep.
We can't say that they're undisciplined and put it on the head coach, and then when they do well, say, "Oh, well, it's the players." So we have to give John Harbaugh some credit for what he's done or whatever he's implemented to kind of cut these penalties down. Because over the last several weeks, it's been a dramatic difference. So
Yeah,
shout
for
out to him.
sure. For sure. And talking about shout outs, I want to say hello to those who are already with us in the chat. I see you, Slicer59. Big Reg is here. Whatchamacallit? Hey there. Hi, Jeff J. Thanks for being here. Hendo, you got your wish, and I agree. Take on the best. There you go. The Nigerian Nightmare. Salute to you. Jeff J says there's no snow next weekend in the forecast for Buffalo. That's good.
That could change.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, weather kind of, forecast be a little finicky, can be a little persnickety. But at any rate, I see you, Janola 2011. Hendo, your wish will be fulfilled. We're going to Buffalo and beating the brakes off the Bills. Okay, I'm there. I'm there. A couple more takeaways, and then we're going to talk about these Buffalo Bills, right? Because we will face them in just a week. And I see you also, AKA DLA. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I'm changing my offensive MVP to 70 after realizing you just read my mind. You just read, I didn't even read your comment, but the next, exactly. Realizing, and I'm going to do the same thing. I realized after rewatching it that TJ Watt recorded 0 stats the entire game. Number 70 had him, Rosengarten had him on lock the entire game. That to me as a rookie was incredibly impressive. And thank you, AKA DLA. I was going to say, I need to amend my answer from last night. A lot of us were saying Bateman. Some obviously were saying Lamar and Derrick Henry were their offensive players of the game. I'm changing my answer. I'm going with Rosengarten. What were your thoughts, Hendo, about a rookie's ability to kind of just make TJ Watt a non-factor?
I mean, it's impressive. And it's not just the fact that he rendered him helpless. It's the fact that this is the third game in a row that he shut TJ Watt down. Now, the second game, people cried about, well, TJ's not 100%, but what about the first game? Now we have a playoff game with a rookie in his first playoff game at that, and he shut him down. So, I mean, it's very impressive that he maybe right now be our best offensive lineman. Linderbaum has his snapping snafus. Ronnie Stanley, he's good for a penalty or two. And Rosengarten has solidly had a Pro Bowl type season. I think he, more than anything, should be a Pro Bowl alternate outside of Where's Waldo. So, shout out to him.
Where's Waldo?
Yeah, it's fine lately. Like, where's Waldo? Is he over here?
I can't. Hey there, pay the bills. He said TJ hasn't recorded a stat in 5 games in a row, though. That may be, but when you are entering into a playoff game, to me, your season is on the line. Your back is against a wall. To me, it's just a much more intense and a sense of heightened. You're playing, well, you should be anyway, playing with a sense of urgency than maybe you were playing with during the regular season. Yes, every game in the NFL should be treated that way, but I just feel like you're right. He didn't record any stats in the last few weeks, but yesterday would have been the time for him to really show up and say, hey, I might have been playing through an injury those couple of games or whatever the reason is, but TJ Watt is TJ Watt and I'm back. And he didn't. So,
I mean, you would have thought that a veteran would have outplayed a rookie in his first playoff game. You would have thought the nerves would have got to Rosengarten and he would have at least made a half a tackle or something. But, somebody in the Discord, I can't remember who it was, said that Odafe Owe has more sacks than TJ Watt in the playoffs.
Well, now would you look at that? I have to check that. But yeah, true enough. Um, Brandon Stevens strikes again. Look, ooh, we talked a good bit about Brandon last night, so we're not going to rehash on that. But I
Come
call
on,
him.
RT. Come on, come on, come on.
I
Uh,
mean,
Nate Wiggins strikes again. Tre'Davious White strikes again. Let's not just single out one person now. I'm
I
just
think,
saying. I'm just saying.
and you're right, Hendo. But to your point, I think it's more of we see it every game and consistently, repeatedly with Brandon Stevens. Whereas with Nate Wiggins, there are moments or there are games where he doesn't get beat often. Or so I think it's just more a culmination of how many times do we put Brandon Stevens on the what are you doing out there list. So they
I
all
disagree. I disagree. I disagree. I'm sorry, I disagree.
go ahead.
You need to put it on John Harbaugh's Zach or why are you playing him train? I can only do what I can do. And
Yeah.
if I'm not good enough, put me on the bench. They did it with Marcus Williams. They did it with Eddie Jackson. Like if I'm not good enough, don't play me. I'm doing what I can do. And you've seen all season long, I can't do it. I just
Mm-mm,
don't have it in me. But you
mm-mm.
keep putting me out there. You keep lining me up against the number one receiver on each team, hoping for different results game in and game out. So don't blame me. I'm doing what I can do.
My and you're right, but my only thought to that or my only like rebuttal would be what alternative this late in the season at this point when we benched Marcus Williams, that was what 4 or 5 weeks ago, may have been even a few more than that now, at
Well,
least probably more, right? When we realized Eddie Jackson wasn't it and we cut him, that was
mhm.
early in the season. We had time to make some adjustments, to make some moves. What I'm not saying that we did. I'm not saying, but what other player? And this is what I asked last night. If we were to, and I'll ask it again for those here who might not have joined us last night, what player do we put in to take Brandon Stevens' place if we decide, okay, it's not working out, we're going to bench you?
I mean, you made my case for me. You just said we took Eddie Jackson out. We acquired Eddie Jackson. We acquired Desmond King. We acquired Tre'Davious White. We've known all season long that he was not good. We've had all season to replace him. We've had all season before the trade deadline to bring somebody in. So we've had opportunities to do something about it. We just chose not to. We
Right.
chose to stick with what we had. So they had chances to improve their secondary. They
Yeah.
chose not to.
Agreed. I know they had an opportunity. I'm saying now that we're here, not what they could have done 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. I was just saying, like today, if we decide we're going to bench Brandon Stevens for the game against the Bills, my question is with our current roster, who do we put in to substitute? Who takes his place?
Who knows and who cares? You let it get to this point as the front office. Don't blame me for my horrible play. I've been playing bad all season. You had ample opportunities to replace me. You chose not to. So don't blame me when I give up a big play. I've been doing it all season.
Yeah,
What do you want me to do?
I know.
I show up to work. You tell me I'm starting. I'm a player. I'm going to start. That's on y'all for not saying, you know what? Maybe we need to get somebody else out there. Maybe we need to put Wiggins in there and find a suitable third cornerback. Tre'Davious Wright, he ain't it. Let's try somebody else. We had so many opportunities, but no, we decided that we were going to fleece the Carolina Panthers and get Deontay Johnson and call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, you're making valid points, and I can't even argue. I'm just thinking of an alternate possible argument, but you're making valid.
Put him on wide receiver 3. Minimize the
Okay.
damage.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't
Then there you
have
go.
him
Do
go.
damage control.
Don't have him go up against George Pickens.
No, no. That's my
Why?
and we'll talk about that because we are going to preview the game on Thursday. Make sure you come back this Thursday night at 8 p.m. We are going to go into a full-on preview of the game between the Bills and the Ravens. But just for, be thinking about it, and we'll talk more about it on Thursday. What alternative do we have right now? For wide receiver number one over there for the Buffalo Bills, what options do we have? But hey there, Chef. I'm glad you enjoyed the game yesterday. Watching the Ravens end the Steelers season was everything. And pay the bills, you're spot on. The way he played Myles Garrett was most impressive. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. That's it. He had to tell me about Odafe. He had because it's the truth. You can't argue. You can't argue the truth. Rod Wave, hey there. We need 21 to lock in. We know he won't stop the catch, but please, at least just tackle him. Yeah, there you go. And people are agreeing with you, Hendo. You're right. You are absolutely right. But that's right, the world class. Let's not give Odafe. Oh, wait. We're going to give him credit. He just told you a fact. And I fully anticipate Odafe to have a very good game on Saturday. But again, we'll talk about that. Talk about that soon. Another thing that one other point. So shout out to the offensive line. Did an amazing job for the most part.
Mhm.
Daniel Falele, like I said, I saw him that one time. I'm not gonna. I saw Big Reg call him Flop something, but
Flopalele?
Flopalele. There you go. Yeah, yeah. But otherwise, kept Lamar Jackson clean, kept him upright. I'm happy with it. But one other takeaway: no turnovers. That's it. To me, that's huge, especially going up against, you know, a very, very good defense like the Steelers. We were able to protect the ball, no turnovers. We're going to need that coming up next week. How did you feel about that, Hendo?
It was great to see. Now we don't have to hear about Lamar turning the ball over and not scoring touchdowns. 2 touchdowns, 0 intercept. I mean, 0 turnovers. It's great. Like
Yeah.
if we play clean football and we don't give the ball away, who's going to stop us? Especially the way that we are running the ball. And a lot of people kind of didn't give us a chance because Zay Flowers wasn't playing, and they figured, hey, this is Lamar's guy, so it's going to stunt what the offense can do. And conversely, we said, you know what? We're just going to run it. Stop that, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah. We do have a question coming.
That last comment was false.
I'm
Nate got
going.
beat.
I
Nate
was
got
going to.
beat 5 times in the Dallas game alone. Alone. Go rewatch that game. And it wasn't by the number one. It was by number 2 and number 3. But he's been playing better. Like, he's a rookie. You shouldn't expect that much from him. But listen, rookie season's done. First playoff game's done. It's time for Nate Wiggins to step up. He's a first round pick. It's time for him to step up, demote Brandon Stevens, move him to CB3. Sorry.
I know. I know. We do have a question coming in. If you have questions for us, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to drop your questions in the chat so that Hendo and I can answer them. Janola2011 wants to know, Hendo, how do you feel about the use of Keaton Mitchell?
I'm kind of indifferent about it. I wish they would have gotten him some carries just to reacclimate him to the game. But I think they're trying to save him for later in the playoffs. We didn't need him, quite honest. Lamar was doing his thing. Derek was doing his thing. Combined, they ran for what, 268 yards? 200, something like that, 268 yards. They didn't really need him, but you do need to get him into the flow of the game if you plan on using him later on. I don't know why they had him in on a couple kick returns. I don't know what the problem is. Is he injured? What are you doing with him? Get him at least 5 carries. You
Yeah.
could have put that in there some way, somehow.
And
Who?
not up the middle.
Not a
Big Reg makes a good comment/question here. TJ Tampa was drafted for a reason. He was a big steal of the draft. You know what?
That's what y'all told me.
Yeah.
Oh man, second round talent. We got him in the fourth. Like, amazing. Like, he's gonna come in and be special teams player of the week.
Yeah. Hey, Osmond, I think that's it. We just don't have a viable option as an alternate right now. We don't. If you go to our depth chart, look at our roster. And now it brings up the question, okay, let's say TJ Tampa was fully healthy. I don't know his status, but let's just say he is fully healthy. With very limited experience during a regular season, him being a rookie, how comfortable are you putting him out on the field during a playoff game? If you didn't incorporate TJ Tampa to get some snaps, some rotations during the regular season, do you think he's going to come off the bench miraculously and be everything that you want him and need him to be to lock down a number one wide receiver? He's a rookie with maybe a handful of games that he's played at the corner position. So
I don't remember ever seeing him at corner.
that's why I said a handful, and I was really being gracious. I'm thinking maybe he played a couple early on, but I could be wrong. But
He was hurt. He was hurt early on.
okay, then 0. then if he's not played any, then, and that is not just for TJ Tampa, that's for everyone, you know? That's for any player that we have on our roster that has not really played any this year. But then we say, well, we have so and so on the roster. Well, wow, okay. I don't have a lot of high hopes for that person, whoever it is, just because, you know, they haven't had the experience. Hey, Spencer, there's nobody else that plays better than
It's
Brandon
fact.
Stevens. I mean, it's true.
It's fact.
It's true. We just got to stick with what we have at this point.
Oh,
Um,
no, I'm sorry. I forgot about somebody. My apologies. I'm getting older. Mind slipping. Arthur Millette.
isn't he
Arthur
on
Millette.
IR?
Arthur Millette plays better.
Isn't he? That's what they
He's
told you, right? He was
he's
going
the
to be.
savior. He's the savior of this secondary. Oh my gosh, has he played a snap? Remarkable.
I mean, didn't we see Arthur Marlette early?
That's all I'm signing this check.
I'm going to move on. Flagship fantasy. If we can hold the Bills early and our offense can score fast, ooh, that's it. We can make Josh Allen one-dimensional, and they will throw their playbook out the stadium, and Josh will try to be Superman. We're going to get into that now. This is a perfect segue. Just wanted to kind of give a few takeaways that I think are very important for us as we move forward in our quest for the Super Bowl title this year. One of them being, and again, we're going to preview the game on Thursday, but we'll touch on a couple of comments here. Listen, Josh Allen, I can't take anything away from him. He's had a very good season. One thing that the Bills Mafia complained about, oh, he's a turnover machine. He corrected that this year. Oh, Josh Allen is good. He's great, but he's just going to he's going to guarantee you XYZ number of interceptions. Well, he's protecting the ball this year. So it goes to say, what do you think about Flagship Fantasy's comment to make him one-dimensional in that game?
I mean, it's key to everything. There's no coincidence that when they fired Ken Dorsey and promoted Joe Brady to be the offensive coordinator, they emphasized the run more. They started featuring James Cook, and once they took the ball out of Josh's hands and made him have less responsibility, that's when his turnovers decreased. If you look at the playoff game today, James Cook had 78 yards by half. Like he's the reason that this team gets jump started. Now Josh Allen has some gaudy rushing touchdown numbers. They get down to the 1 yard line and they intentionally feed him the ball. So if we can do what we did in this first game, especially with our run defense that held the Steelers to 29 rushing yards, if we can do that and put the ball in Josh Allen's hands and make him be the sole proprietor of that offense, things are going to be different. Now I'm not going to Earl Thomas it and say that we scared to tackle him. But those other teams out there don't have the guys that we have. We have big, fast guys.
Yep.
And the running that he's doing, he can't do against us.
Yeah.
I know that they're going to say, well, that was one game. We're a lot better. We're a lot better as well. So if we can score early, have him try to throw the ball, double Shakir, it's a wrap. Like we already have the blueprint on how to beat them. We just have to look at the game that we played against them.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Moving on, kind of like, a couple of things that I wanted to highlight. Mm-hmm. As we now know, we're playing the Bills.
Right.
What are, as I thought about it, from yesterday's game, what are a couple of things that you would like to see us maybe work on this week and even improve just a little bit as we head into the game against the Bills? What's one thing for you, Hendo? Offense or defense? It doesn't matter. You can.
Offensively, I think that we need not let up. I think that we need to score and score often because this is not Russell Wilson. This is Josh Allen, and he is up for MVP consideration for a reason. So even if we get a lead, he can throw them back into the game. If you saw today, like it was kind of a close game, and all of a sudden they just exploded. So we need to just not take our foot off the gas pedal and just continuously beat them down and impose our will. Defensively, the one thing that I think that we need more than anything is more turnovers. Josh Allen will turn the ball over. He's proven it throughout his history in the NFL. He's protected it as of late, but he still has that mentality. But a lot of these games, it's been a lot of dropped interceptions. So he has it out there. Today he was running around, and I mean, he was just holding the ball out waiting for them to knock it out of his hands, and they just didn't do it. Denver has a great defense, but sometimes they just don't show up. They were very undisciplined. So if we can stay disciplined and actually cause some turnovers, this game won't even be close, and we're off to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. That was another question I had. And leave a comment down below or leave a comment in the chat. We all know that Denver's defense is supposed to be one of the best, definitely top 10, right? Why did they look so porous today? What happened? And is that any indicator, like for us thinking about having to play Josh Allen, was it more mental? Because they've been acquiring the stats all year for the most part. Was this more of a mental breakdown, a mental lapse? Was it just they buckled? Or I don't want to say are they frauds, but you don't make it that far, and say like they're frauds. But what do you think it is, Hendo?
They're frauds.
Wait, I was going to say,
100%, they're frauds. Listen,
okay,
you look at this game, you look at the game we played against them. And early on, I think it's a mentality thing. Early on, they scored first. Like they hit him. Mims hit him for like a 60-yard touchdown, and the defense played well. But after that play, offensively, they couldn't get anything going. And I think the defense kind of got deflated. Like, look, bro, can y'all at least stay on the field for at least 10 plays? Can you give me
yeah,
something? I think just by them going 3 and out, turning the ball over, just doing nonsensical things, it deflated the defense. And they were just on the field a little bit too long. Because when you get up on them, they panic. Plus, they had a rookie quarterback. So I'm not trying to say all that is on Denver's offense, but they had a rookie wide receiver. I can't remember his number, 17, I believe. He dropped like 3 passes, 3 crucial passes. So offensively, if they're not getting it done, their defense can't do what they need to do. Now, they tried everything they could because even while the game was getting out of hand, the defense was getting some sacks. Like they were putting pressure on Josh Allen. It's just that offensively, they just couldn't score. So for us, we had that same mentality. We score on Buffalo. What are they going to do? Defensively, they can't stop the run.
yeah,
They're not equipped to stop what we had. We showed that
yeah,
the first play of the first game when we played them. They can't handle us.
yeah. Absolutely. I think we match up very well against the Bills, and the favorite for me, the scales are definitely tipped in our favor. We do have a question coming in right now from Justin. He wants to know what are the keys to the Ravens to what keys Ravens will do to eliminate Buffalo in the divisional round. So what do we need to do? I think you just mentioned one thing or 2 things. We need to keep our foot on the gas offensively, score a lot early and often, and turnovers. Our defense needs to be able to come away with, just like Rod said, Nate needs an interception. So anything else to that you'd like to add, Hendo?
I don't like saying this, but run Lamar Jackson. Bo Nix was getting funky on him. Bo Nix was running on him, and Bo Nix is not Lamar Jackson. He was like, that was pretty much their offense for a while, just him scrambling. And just a threat of Lamar or Lamar getting out there, getting these big chunk runs, it's going to open things up for Derrick Henry. So the keys of the game are just running the ball like we have. Now, they tried to emulate what we did. They ran for like 220 yards today. Good for them. They're not going to do that versus us. But we can run for 299 versus them. And I know Matt Milano's back, and Buffalo fans were crying that Matt Milano didn't play, so that's the reason why y'all beat us so bad. Okay, cool. And it's amazing to me that the Buffalo Bills YouTubers were sitting there towards the end of the game talking about, I don't want to see the Ravens during the playoffs. This is the one team I don't want to see. But yet and still, leading up to now, they're like, yeah, we're the number 1 team in the league. Bring on Baltimore. We're going to show them who the real MVP is. They know that they don't have a chance. They don't match up well versus us. They can't stop the run, and we can run. So we got it. You're muted.
Thank you. 2 things I will add to that. And thank you, Justin, for asking the question. I don't want to run Lamar Jackson as much as we have, primarily because, yes, I was very nervous or concerned. I think concerned is probably a better word. When I saw him kind of grimace and wince after he took that knee to the back. It's not just he took a knee, someone kneed him in the back this time. It's also keeping in mind that midway through the season, Lamar Jackson missed a couple of days, 2 or 3 days of practice, and boy, were we on pins and needles. Is Lamar okay? And we learned that it was because of back and knee issue that he had been dealing with. If he has still lingering effects from that, now you re-aggravate that
Mhm.
last week, yesterday. I'm looking at it in its totality that me personally, I prefer not to run Lamar as much. I'm not saying he can't have a few QB design runs. Absolutely. And we already know his mom is going to, told him you need to run. So I expect it. But my preference would be focus more on Keaton Mitchell because, like the question said, like, what are we doing with him? We already know the large majority of it is going to Derrick Henry. But beyond that, we still have Justice Hill and we still have um, Keaton Mitchell. Let them carry the lion's share of the runs. That's my thought. But
I mean, I agree, but I'm on the opposite end. I don't want the design runs. I'd rather have the scrambles. It's just the threat of him. I don't want them because he's going to scramble. So I don't need you adding more carries with design runs. Let him go out there and dictate the flow of the game. Lamar, if you saw him this last game, he's going to do whatever he needs to do. Whether
yeah,
I want him to run or not, if
yeah,
he sees a lane, he's going to run. So keep the design runs for the running backs.
yeah,
Let him do his thing, but it's just the threat of him which opened things up for everybody else. And yes, Keaton Mitchell may be needed this game. His speed
yes.
is just going to take it to another level. I mean, Derrick Henry's pretty fast himself, but Keaton Mitchell is in a class of his own. And I don't think that they are ready for it because they don't really have film on him. Since he didn't play all year, they don't have film on him. And maybe this is the game that we actually spring Keaton Mitchell on him. Maybe
Ooh,
utilize Justice Hill a little bit more and stop running him up the middle. That's not what he's built for. So, me take out the design runs and just have him do what he needs to do when he's scrambling, when plays break down. But just the threat of Lamar opens everything up.
sure. Agreed there. I agree with you. Rod Wave wants to know what's wrong with our kick return and punt return. Zero stats recorded. No yards. Nothing. Zero. It was a mess yesterday. It absolutely was. Hendo, what's wrong with us? Special teams. It ain't so special right now.
Personnel decisions. It started off with Deontay Hardy, signing him to $1 million deal to come in and return kicks. Mistake. Then he got hurt, and we just threw Tylan Wallace back there. Tylan Wallace plays it safe. He's like, I'm not gonna mess these things up. So then we just started going to different people. And Sims, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for prime time.
Ooh,
That kickoff, that first punt, he muffed it, went back 5 yards, ran up 5 yards. So yeah, it ever since Jerry Rossberg retired, this special teams has not been it. And I know John Harbaugh used to get a lot of credit when we used to rank in the top 5 as far as special teams was concerned, but it was all Jerry Rossberg. It's not your head coach. That's why they suck.
yeah.
Your punter sucks. -1 kick.
Oh, we thank you all so much for being here, hanging out with us, just kind of recapping yesterday's game, kind of, giving you our final takeaways as we get ready to turn the page and look to play and beat the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. They don't lose. They haven't lost a game at home this season. But all of that changes next weekend. Hey there, Law Rich. He said Buffalo lacks the physicality of the Ravens and Steelers, giving us a better chance to win. I like it. Whatever our advantage is, we play to that. If we are the more physical team, play to that. So, all right, we have our first super chat of the evening coming through. Let me skip to the front of the line. Wow, I was
Appreciate
way
it.
behind in my chats. I mean, way behind in the conversations. You guys are having a
Appreciate it.
really good
Appreciate it.
conversation. But this one is coming 4.99 from IB saying, give this some traction. 8 and 22 are the Smash Brothers steamroll. I like it. All the way to the Lombardi. First, IB saying, thank you for your
Appreciate
donation. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And we do appreciate the super chat. And you're right.
you.
That's it. It was such a joy to listen to Lamar gush over. And we're going to do a full on preview. Jonathan, thanks for being here. We're going to do a full preview on Thursday night. But it was such a warming feeling to listen to Lamar gush over Derrick Henry. He described him as being one of those race cars. He's like, just watching him. You were,
Lightning
and
McQueen.
he said, just watching him, how fast he is for him to be as, muscular, as big as he is. Gosh. So it was really good, just to see the two of them. And you're right. I be saying those two in tandem, unstoppable. Thank you, Justin. We appreciate your support. Thanks for being here. And shout out to you, Sean Coles. Congrats to your guy, Miller, getting a few snaps, starting small, but finishing strong. Absolutely. And if Zay is out this week, go ahead and put Miller back in. Go ahead. Why not? But going back to your point, Hendo, about Keaton Mitchell, I think you're right. Maybe this is the game where we really unleash him
Hmm.
full throttle. Because if there's not a lot of film, they really don't know how to prepare for Keaton. And it's a totally different beast when you're on the field and that speed hits you, So that could be it. That could be it. Well, family, let us know if you have any questions for us before we go. Just wanted to kind of check in, let you all know that we are still enjoying this win and we're happy about it. And it kind of opened our eyes a little bit to just how dominant we can be as a team. And we're looking forward to moving on and beating those talkative Bills.
Listen, listen. I know you're not like a fan of college football and what used to go on back in the day. So back in the day, University of Miami, and Notre Dame used to have this rivalry, and it was terrible. Like they would fight. All these things went on, and they dubbed one of the games "Convicts versus Catholics." So I'm dubbing this game versus the Buffalo Bills, the realists versus the racists. That's what I'm dubbing that game.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, because they need to get a grip on reality. And also, they love talking about, and the thing that gets to me is they love talking about, and they did it while we were beating them. They were talking about Lamar's playoff record. I'm like, you're sitting here getting your butts whipped. Why are you talking about the playoffs? We're not even at the halfway point of the season. They love talking about Lamar's playoff record and saying he can't win in the playoffs. But
All right. We have another super chat, this time $5 coming
but
in from, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
but looking at what happened today with Buffalo, Josh Allen is 5-1 in the wild card round. He is 1-3 in the divisional round. They don't talk about these things. They don't talk about in that 1-3 record, he's lost the last 2 games at home. So,
Hmm.
yeah, let's talk about everything. Let's not just talk about things that make your team look good and pumps you up. Let's talk about all the statistics when it comes to both sides. Yes, Lamar is 3-4 in the playoffs, but you guys are 1-3 at home in the divisional round. You make all your money doing a wild card round
Wow.
where Lamar is not normally at because we normally have the number 1 seed, something that Buffalo has never really had.
I didn't realize 1-3. Wow. Yeah, because things like that get swept under the rug. Again, thank you, Noah, for your super chat. We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions for us, go ahead, drop your questions in the chat. We are going to wrap up this stream shortly, but
You
make
can
sure
read
you
the
come
comment.
back. What'd you say?
You can read a comment.
Yeah, I am. But make sure that you come back on Thursday night because Hendo and I will preview the upcoming game. And Ali wants to know, will this game be flexed? I don't know. I
No,
I can
no, they had their schedule set out how they want to do this.
yeah.
We won't know probably until after all the games are completed, or maybe tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah. So that I whatever it is, whenever it is, Hendo and I will be here to live stream the game. Yes. I didn't see the smile, but that's okay. Hendo and I will be here to live stream that game.
It's because I'm all business. This is business week. This ain't play jokey joke time. This is business week because we have an agenda to push. We have a team to beat down and a fan base to disappoint.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for that fan base just wow. Something serious. So, yeah. But I'm trying to make sure that I did not miss any questions before we go. Just going
I'm
through to make
figuring
sure
out.
that I didn't miss any questions. I don't see any, but otherwise, listen, do us a favor. If you are enjoying the stream and you enjoy hanging out with us, we know you do because you're here and we appreciate you. Thank you very much. hit the like button for us. It helps our channels so much. And also, if you are new, welcome. Please subscribe and join the family. You don't want to miss content released on our channels. In fact, speaking of content, once this stream is over, Hendo released a video just a few hours ago. Head right on over to Hendo's channel, or if you're already there, click on his last upload from a couple of hours ago and watch that video. Definitely telling you 100% facts. And that's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I'm going to say. Well, I don't see any other comments, but that's about it for today. I'm still feeling really good. And I know that our team, we've got this. We've got it. Now it's just a matter of, now it's just a matter of kind of dialing in and being true to who we are as a team, doing what we can do, and the rest will take care of itself. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel.
We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to the Super Bowl.
We are. Yeah, you've already told us what the path was going to be, and it's going to be just that. That's exactly what it's going to be. So, well, family, thank you for being here. Hendo, before we get out of here, would you please let everyone know where they can find you and what you got going on and what you got coming up?
You can find me on the Rogue Pod, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Blue Sky. I randomly put out videos. Sometimes I just get bored and just make up a video, throw it out there, see what sticks, things like that. But I do have a video planned, and it's going to take a minute to put together. I actually saw somebody today do something similar to what I had planned. Now I want to put it out, but I'm going to do it anyway. And hopefully you guys like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure that you're subscribed. Hey there, MDT Sports. I appreciate you for being here. Yep, excellent. Good job, Ravens. Look, it's time for us to go out there and dominate the Bills. That's it. And that's what we're going to do. We'll be back on Thursday to preview that game. So you'll see us soon. Maybe before Thursday, if we release videos. I didn't say live stream, but if we release a video before then, you'll see us then. But anyway, family, thank you. And we will see you very, very soon. Until next time, you remember, take care and stay safe. And it is always go Ravens.
Kill them Bills.
We're going to do it this weekend.
Yes.
Take care.